A partial United States government shutdown over budget spending could continue right up to the opening of the next Congress on 3 January, a Trump aide has said. The shutdown began at midnight Friday, after opposition Democrats resisted President Donald Trump's demand for $5 billion of his Mexico border wall. Mr. Trump's acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, suggested Democrats were beholden to their left wing. A Democratic senator said his party opposed any funding for the wall. That's correct, Sen. Jeff Merkley told an aide interviewer when asked if his party was not going to approve any money for the Trump administration's Project None. Earlier, the party offered a sum of $1.3 billion for border security. Mr. Trump himself took to Twitter on Sunday to defend his plans for the border with Mexico. It's very possible that this shutdown will go beyond the 28th and into the new Congress, Mr. Trump's acting chief of staff told ABC. This is what Washington looks like when you have a president who refuses to sort of go along to get along. In a separate interview for Fox News, he said he was waiting to hear from Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer about a new Republican offer, without specifying the sum. Speaking to ABC's This Week program, Sen. Merkley said a 30-foot concrete wall and 30-foot steel spikes were not the smart way. His Republican Party controls both chambers of the outgoing Congress, and the budget was indeed passed by the House on Thursday by 217 votes to 185. However, he needs to find 60 votes in the 100-seat Senate, where the Republicans currently have 51. So he needs to enlist the support of Democrats there. 9 of 15 federal departments, including state, homeland security, transportation, agriculture and justice, began partially shutting down after funding for them lapsed at midnight, 5:00 GMT Saturday. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees will have to work unpaid or off-road, a kind of temporary leave. In practice, this means that the remaining 75% of the federal government is fully funded until September 20th, 19th, so the Defense, Veterans Affairs, Labor and Education departments are not affected. The current Congress reassembles on Thursday, after the Christmas holiday. On 3 January, new members of Congress will be sworn in, having been elected in November's midterm elections. From that point, Democrats will enjoy a majority in the House of Representatives. Mr. Trump has said the shutdown could last a very long time. Have you been affected by the partial government shutdown? Tell us your story by emailing hvayursdavid@bbc.co.uk. You can also contact us in the following ways. The United States military says it has killed 62 fighters from the Islamist group Al-Shabaab in 6 airstrikes in Somalia. 4 airstrikes on Saturday killed 32 militants, and a further 2 on Sunday killed 28. It said in a statement. This were the deadliest air attacks in Somalia since November 2017, when the United States said it had killed 100 militants. Somalia has seen a sharp increase in the number of airstrikes and casualties since President Donald Trump took office in the United States in January 2017. A tally by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism reveals that at least 400 people have been killed in airstrikes since the beginning of 2017, far more than the previous 10 years combined. The latest strikes bring to at least 40 the number carried out in Somalia so far this year, compared with 35 recorded in 2017. The United States has a huge military base in neighboring Djibouti, from where it launches attacks on the militants. Mr. Trump gave the United States military greater authority in March 2017 to attack militants in Somalia. Traditionally, United States presidents have been wary of intervening in Somalia, since it and Special Forces soldiers died fighting militias in the capital Mogadishu in 1993, a battle dramatized in the film Black Hawk Down. No civilians were killed in the latest airstrikes, which were carried out in coordination with the Somali government, the United States military said. Alongside our Somali and international partners, we are committed to preventing al-Shabaab from taking advantage of safe havens from which they can build capacity and attack the people of Somalia. The United States Africa Command said, al-Shabaab, which is linked to al-Qaeda, has not yet commented on the latest strikes. Somalia-based security think tank the Higher Institute said in a report published in November that al-Shabaab had been forced to change tactics following the upsurge in airstrikes. The institute said the group was now conducting fewer mass attacks on military bases, but attacks on government offices and businesses which refused to pay its taxes had increased markedly. The United States State Department, in its most recent report on terrorism, described Somalia as a terrorist safe haven, and said al-Shabaab remained a threat. Despite suffering setbacks, the group retained control over large parts of the country, and the ability to carry out high-profile attacks using suicide bombers, explosive devices, mortars, and small arms. The report added, a popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park, in eastern Hainan province said it would waive the $9.65 ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Mann, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones. Shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei's success and bliss." The offer would last until 29 December. The South China Morning Post reported, but it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a border in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday. https://qxl19ypqlpic. Twitter.com Sokolov. End of Twitter post by @LuOceanG. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products. A few days ago, Manpad Shenzhen-based LED and display manufacturer offered subsidies to any employees buying Huawei phones. It also pledged to fine anyone who bought an Apple iPhone. United States prosecutors alleged Ms. Mann
46
used the Huawei subsidiary called Skycom to evade sanctions on Iran between 2009 and 2014. They also alleged she publicly misrepresented Skycom as being a separate company from Huawei, and that she deceived banks about the true relationship between the two companies. Ms. Mann, who is the daughter of Huawei's founder, has denied any wrongdoing and said she will contest the allegations. Life of Huawei's high-flying heiress. The United States has been investigating the Chinese telecoms giant, the world's second-largest smartphone maker, since 2016, believing that it used Skycom to bring United States manufacturing equipment and millions of dollars in transactions to Iran in violation of sanctions. Ms. Man's detention comes amid an increasingly acrimonious trade dispute between Washington and Beijing. China is angry at her detention, saying she has not violated any laws. Beijing has threatened severe consequences unless Canada releases the executive. Since her arrest,